Good day to all the viewers. You're welcome to today's presentation. Today's presentation is about guests and hotels of the world. Before we move any further, we must first try to understand that guests are very important for the hotel. In order to give them personalized service, it is very important for us to understand our guests, understands how they are feeling, through which stage they are passing, what are their likes, what are their dislikes, what is their temperament. Unless we know all these things, we will not be able to give satisfactory service to the guest. This presentation today is divided into many categories. There are many types of things that we are going to be discussing. We are going to be discussing about the guest cycle and related front office functions, how on a certain stage of the guest cycle, how does the front office behave, react, or present itself. We will talk about the 6 stages of guest arrival, that is pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy, departure, settlement of bills, and finally post-departure. Then we'll be talking about types of guests. What are the different types of guests? And believe me, it is a very important part of the presentation, and this presentation is not only just meant for aspirants of the front office but for all, because ultimately you must understand that whether you are in the housekeeping or in the kitchen or in the F&B service, you have to take the responsibility of satisfying the guest. Then we'll be talking about classification of guests. How are the guests classified? We'll do different types of classifications of guests. Expectations of the guests. What do the guests expect when they come to your hotel? Temperament of the guests. Different type of guests have different temperaments. We will broadly classify into 8 different categories, and after you know the temperament of the guest, you will be able to deal with them better. And then we move on to the second part of the presentation, which is about hotels of India, major hotels of India, major hotel chains of India, Taj, ITC, Oberoi's, and finally we will end with major hotels of the world. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin today's presentation, guests and hotels of the world. Guest cycle. What is a guest cycle? A guest cycle is a division of the flow of business through a hotel that identifies the physical contacts and financial exchanges between guests and hotel employees. Flow of business means flow of the guest through a hotel. So the flow of the guest starts from before the guest comes into the hotel to when he comes to the hotel, then he goes to the room, then he checks out, and then he goes out. So this is the whole cycle. And then if he loves the experience, he will again come to your hotel. This is the traditional guest cycle: pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy, and departure. And after departure, if he comes back to your hotel, then you must consider it as a good sign that he liked your services when he came to your hotel the first time. That depends on so many things. Ultimately, the guest should get value for money and should be treated in a proper manner. We now move on to the guest cycle vis-a-vis responsibilities and duties of the hotel. Let us start with the pre-arrival. On the extreme right, pre-arrival. Pre-arrival is the result of good work of the reservation department. So the only department which is involved with the guest before his arrival is the reservations. After pre-arrival, the next stage is arrival. Between pre-arrival and arrival, we have listed the duties and responsibilities of the hotel staff at the time of arrival. So there are 6 subheadings. The first contact of the guest upon arrival is the doorman and the porter and the valet. After that is registration and the front desk, front office, which assigns rooms to the guest, issues the room keys to the guest, and all the baggage handling is done by the front desk, by the bellboys of the front office. After the guest has arrived, he begins to live in the hotel, which brings us to the third part of the guest cycle, which is occupancy. During occupancy, what does the hotel do? Hotel does currency exchange, safe deposits, maintaining the guests' accounts, mail and information, telephone calls, and transportation. And after the guest has lived in your hotel, the fourth part of the guest cycle is departure. What does the hotel department do at the time of departure? First is baggage handling, second is transportation, third is bill settlement, and the fourth one is checkout. So this is how the guest cycle is. And if after departure the guest makes reservation for future, then you must consider that you have done a good job, that during the pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy and departure you have given the guest a very good service and he has freely chosen to come again to your hotel. The modern guest cycle is on the basis of the flow of business. A new cycle has emerged. Identification and analysis of guest related tasks, pre-sale, pre-arrival, pre-registration, point of sale, arrival, occupancy and departure, and post-sale. So the 4 points have been summarized into 3: pre-sale, point of sale and post-sale. This is the modern guest cycle. This slide shows the interactions between guests and the front office during the guest cycle. In the core center circle, you will see the guest cycle, pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy and departure. On the top right, the quarter of the circle is about pre-arrival. During pre-arrival, the only department of the hotel that the guest relates with is the reservations office, which helps in doing the reservation of the guest. Then the second part of the guest cycle, arrival. At the time of arrival, doorman and porters registration and room assignment is done by the reception department. At the time of arrival, issuing of keys is done by mailing and information, and porters handle baggage at the time of arrival of the guest. During the occupancy stage of the guest, left bottom, the quarter representing occupancy. During the occupancy of the guest, the currency exchange, safe deposits and maintaining guest accounts is done by the front office cashier. Currency exchange, safe deposits and maintaining of the guests accounts. Mail and information is handled by a section of the front office which is dedicated to mail and information. Telephone department is responsible for all the telephone calls to and from the guest, and porters are responsible for transportation during the occupancy of the guest. During the arrival of the guest, porters are responsible for baggage handling. But during the occupancy, they assume another role, that of transportation, which may be required by the guest. And last but not the least, the departure of the guest. During departure of the guest, the two departments involved are porters and front office cashier. Porters for baggage handling and transportation, and front office cashier for bill settlement and checkout of the guest. So these are the interactions between the guest and the front office during his stay in the hotel. This is the same thing explained in tabular form. The guest cycle: pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy, and departure. Front office functions during the guest cycle of pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy, and departure. Pre-arrival: only guest services are reservations. On arrival, registration. During occupancy, occupancy services. And at the departure, checkout and guest history. During arrival, establishment of credit is done. During occupancy, charge posting, night audit, and during departure, settlement. I hope it is very clear. Before the guest comes to the hotel, he has to reserve, and that is called as the pre-arrival stage. Now, pre-arrival stage involves reservation. Reservation is the process of booking a room prior to the arrival of a guest so that the room is available at the time the guest checks in. The reservation process involves taking the guest's requests for a particular room, if any, at an agreed price and recording such requests precisely before confirming the reservation. Earlier, a reservation agent acted as a booking clerk who would check whether the rooms were available and confirmed the reservation if they were. Hotels soon realized that reservations department could also play a vital role of maximization of the hotel's revenue if they were well equipped with better information systems that clearly indicated features and locations of the room, or take advantage of their view and facilities in quoting prices. The reservation agent therefore plays a more proactive role than just a booking clerk. Hotel management also realized that the reservation agent went a long way in promoting the image of the property and supported their efforts in being efficient with better automation. Reservation also records important details of the guests that will later be used by other front desk colleagues and other departments. The reservation form essentially is a registration form, but it also acts as a guest profile folder for further reference by other front office agents. The information also upgrades various information lists and reports in the system. The reservation department is therefore the nerve center for room revenues and profitability. Before we can learn the reservation system and procedures in detail, it is important to be familiar with some terminology, which makes the job easier. So, in the pre-arrival stage, the guest chooses a hotel during this stage. The guest choice can be affected by many factors. I have listed 7 factors here. The first one being previous experiences with the hotel, advertisements, recommendations from travel agents, the hotel's location or reputation, and preconceptions based upon the hotel's name or chain affiliation, the ease of making reservations, how the reservation agent describes the hotel and its facilities, room rates, amenities, and the 7th point, the attitude, efficiency, and knowledge of the front office staff who influences a caller's decision to stay in a particular hotel. We then move on to the arrival stage. At the arrival stage, the guest has come to your hotel. Pre-registration activities occur during the preparation of guest folio. Determining guests' reservation status is done at the arrival stage. Creating a registration record, assigning a room and rate, identifying a payment method, establishing departure date, and providing a room key and map. Room assignments may need to take into account guests with physical impairments. Registering at the reception, establishing credit, paying in advance, being escorted to the room, and doorman, bell desk, reception are involved during the arrival stage. We then come to the third stage of the guest, the occupancy stage, the center of front office activity where the front desk is responsible for coordinating guest services. Front office of the hotel is the focal point of guest contact. The reception is the front end of the front office. It is the place where the guest builds a mental picture of his or her stay. During the occupancy stage, the central role is of the front office. Role of the reception: it is the place where the guests register themselves into the hotel in writing. All government insist that guests register themselves. The act of registration has many benefits. It creates a relationship between the hotel and the guest. The relationship is one of mutual trust and respect. It protects the hotel and the guest from any abuse of the relationship. The hotel becomes responsible for the guest's stay and safety. It empowers the guest to access the various facilities and amenities of the hotel. The hotel can expect a conduct of the guest that adheres to the house rules, and last but not the least, it helps the government keep track of all the foreign travelers during their stay in the country. The basic role of the reception is to welcome the guests, to establish the guest's identity and reservation status, register the guest, pre-register in some cases, assign a room, issue a room key, and act as a source of continuous information during the occupancy. Like told before, during the occupancy, these are the 3 functions of the front office. Guest relations: maintain very good guest relations, helping him, hand-holding him at all times. Procedural requests: sir, may I this, sir, may I that, all the procedural requests. And finally, guest accounting. All the guest accounting is done in the front office. At the occupancy stage, the front desk coordinates guest services and responds to guest requests. A variety of financial transactions occur during this stage and are processed according to front office posting and auditing procedures. During the occupancy stage, it is very important for us to protect the guests' right to privacy. Guests are entitled to constitutional protection against unreasonable search and seizure. We should never announce a guest's room number or give room numbers to callers. We should never give out guest room keys to anybody other than the registered guest. Handling guests is a bit of an art. Most of the guests essentially want the same thing. They want to be treated like important guests. They like to be treated as welcome guests, not as intruders. They also like to be treated equal and respected. If guests are looking only for speed in service, then machines would have replaced humans. But they want something more from human beings, which is a smile, friendly attitude, concern, and courtesy. Our prime objective is to satisfy our guests' need, both physical and psychological. During the occupancy stage, we must understand that it is not a difficult task to satisfy our guests, provided we render services which we are supposed to render at the right time and at the right price. The last stage of the guest cycle, departure stage, guest services and guest accounting are completed during this stage. A guest history record is created and the guest's account is zeroed out. Hotels often use expiration registration records to construct a guest history file. Settle guest account balances. 3 steps. Update room status information. All the departments of the hotel should know that a certain guest has departed. Zero the guest account. There should be no credit, there should be no debit, zero. And last but not the least, create guest history records. Now, when we talk about the departure of the guest, it comes to my mind that I should inform you about the modern developments in the checkout options. There are two developments. One is express checkout. In busy hotels with high volume of business, guests normally experience long lines in the front desk at the prime checkout period. To ease the front desk, some hotels initiate checkout activities before the guest is actually ready to leave. Bill folios are printed and quietly slipped under the guest room door of expected checkout rooms before time. The front office also attaches an express checkout form with each pre-departure folio. Express checkout forms include a note requesting guests to notify the front desk if departure plans change. This procedure reminds and encourages guests to notify the front desk about any problems in departure before the checkout time. For an efficient and effective express checkout procedure, the hotel must collect accurate billing instruction during registration. The front office must inform room status information to the housekeeping department as soon as an express checkout form is received, as that will facilitate housekeeping to plan their work and get the room ready for the next guest in time. The second modern checkout option is self-checkout. In some hotels, guests can check themselves out of the hotel by accessing self-checkout terminals in the lobby area or by using an in-room system. Self-checkout terminals or in-room systems are interfaced with the front office computer and are meant to reduce the departure time and rush at the front desk. Some of the terminals look similar to bank teller machines, while others have video and audio capabilities. At the terminals, a guest can access his bill folio and receive the content. There, the guest is required to feed his credit card number using the keypad or by the magnetic card reader. The checkout is complete when the guest's balance is transferred to a credit card account. Some hotels use the in-room television set and the telephone for this purpose. Both the devices are attached to the front office computer system. The guest can confirm a previously approved method of settlement. The front office computer directs the self-checkout process. Generally, guests can pick up a printed bill folio copy at the front office on their way out. Post-departure, follow-up on accounts, charge settlement, lost and found, mails received after the checkout, marketing services such as mailer of new enhanced services or products, loyalty programs, greetings, gifts on birthdays, anniversaries, they have to be wished after they have departed, and guest relations. Maintain guest relations with the guest after their departure with the hope that they come back to your hotel. Types of guests. What are the different types of guests which come to the hotel? FIT, free independent traveler, foreign free independent traveler, FFIT, company volume guarantee rate, CVGR, company guarantee rate, CGR, group inclusive tour, GIT, and single lady, SL. CVGR and CGR is the bill to company. Classification of guests. How do we classify guests? According to nationality, according to age, according to gender, profession. Some professions are preferred over the others. Purpose of visit, special requirement, disability, and temperament of the guest. This is how we classify the guest. According to nationalities, they are broadly clubbed as Asian, African, American, European, or Australian. Based on age, they are classified as elderly, 60 plus, middle-aged, 41 to 60, young, 20 to 40, teens, 13 to 19, kids, 6 to 12, toddlers, 2 to 5, and newborn, 0 to 1. Expectations vis-a-vis age. Elderly expectations, a very patient and responsive service. Middle-aged expectation, quick and efficient. In elderly, no hurrying up, a room closer to the elevator and away from pantry service area, toilets with anti-skid flooring and grab bars, and display boards and menu cards with big lettering, etc. Expectations of middle age, quick and efficient service with excellent spa, fitness center, jogging track, beauty parlor, etc. Well-equipped business center and secretarial service, creche or child care facility, and bar or restaurant with excellent ambience. Youngsters, teens, what are the expectations from the hotel? Fast service, quick, modern facilities, Wi-Fi and video game facilities, fitness centers, swimming pool and sports facilities, pubs and discotheques with good DJ and music. And kids and toddlers or babies, what are the expectations? The play area, creche, childcare facilities, special menu for kids, kiddies pool, accessories like cribs, prams, high chair, etc., and attentive and caring staff. Men versus women. Men are price conscious. For women, safety is the first priority. Men spend more when on official visit, whereas women, the emphasis is on amenities and personal safety, depend more on corporate arrangements. Different types of professions could be farming or agriculture or agro-based industries, religion, traveling to temples or mosques or churches, healthcare and medical, finance or IT related, the government, judiciary or legal paralegal services, people from the service industry, scientists, chemists, the intellectuals of the world, astronauts, space travelers, aircraft, and so on and so forth. Families, family businesses, and chef, business of being a chef. These are the various professions that you may have to be dealing with. Purpose of the visit. Why do people travel? Business travelers, there are leisure travelers, there are health travelers, diplomats, pilgrims, and adventure travelers. Business traveler. Need of the business traveler may include ease in making reservation, quick and efficient check-in, reliable and comfortable product, meeting places, eating breakfast and quick checkout, early breakfast and quick checkout, and business and secretarial service. For the leisure traveler, the need of the tourist may include friendly front office staff, budget accommodation, convenient location, and foreign exchange. Disability classified under physically challenged, visually challenged, restricted hearing. There can be many temperaments of the guests. We have to understand the temperament of the guest and then deal with him accordingly. The various temperaments and moods of the guest could be soft-spoken, short-tempered, jovial, over-anxious, frustrated, timid, confused, thoughtful, calm, or egocentric. Now this reminds me, we must also cover how we should handle the awkward guests, angry guests. Apologize immediately for the specific inconvenience caused only. Do not try to give explanation and reasons. If you go on explaining, the guest will become angrier. Act immediately and do what he wants or needs. Do not argue. Logic does not work when one is angry. Snob guests. These are people who show off and try to act smart. They speak highly about their contacts, ignore the show off, but in such a way that the guest is not ignored. Break the rule for me type of guests. These are guests who ask for favors which you are not allowed to do. For example, a guest asking for a drink on a dry day or after the bar has closed. Be brief and do not argue. Only say, sorry, I cannot do this, sir, or we are not allowed to do this, sir. Fussy guests. These are guests who go on complaining and grumbling without explaining their specific demands. Try to pick what they want. Ask them questions for which they have to give a direct answer, either yes or no. Guests with language barrier. If a foreigner guest who cannot speak English or the local language and you do not understand his language, this could be a problem. Try to get a person who can speak the language, for example, a tour leader in case of groups. If this is not possible, try to understand in signals. Ignorant guests. These are guests who are not aware of the rules. For example, they can say, why do you need my passport details? Explain briefly and to the point to them. For example, in India, legislation requires passport details. Impatient guests. They deal with such impatient guests as you would deal with an angry guest. Apologize immediately. Do not try to justify. Do not try to explain anything. Socializer. These are men who try to invite the female staff members like receptionists, hotel hostesses, etc. Do not get offended, angry or surprised. Humor eliminates the problem easily. Say for example, I can go out provided my family can come along. Or say, sorry, I have a date with my fiancé. Chatterbox. These are guests who can take a lot of your time. Be polite, considerate and courteous. Do not be rude. Listen or appear to be listening. Look for a short break. Make a short commitment and say, excuse me, sir, I will be back in a moment. Timid guests. These are the type of guests who never complain. If unsatisfied, they will simply not come back to the hotel. This is the most important as the guests do not get unsatisfied. Ask them about their stay, comfort and services. Watch for signs of displeasure like frowns, sighs, finger tapping, etc. Speak to them and draw out their feelings. Draw out their feelings. And last category of awkward guests is drunk guests. This I've divided into 4 stages. The first stage, this is simple excitement. Handle him like a chatterbox. Logic is acceptable. Second stage takes away control on emotions. This person becomes sad, depressed and angry very easily. Deal with him like angry and impatient guest. Third stage is highly under the influence of alcohol. Movements are affected. Logic does not work. Try to draw his attention. Use your tact. And fourth stage is totally paralyzed. He cannot control it. He should be tactfully sent to his room or a taxi be called for him and escorted. We now move on to the last part of our presentation, which deals with major hotel chains of India and the world. But first let us deal with major hotel chains of the country of India. Marriott, Hyatt, Holiday Inn, Hilton, Ramada, Roseate, Park, Sheraton, Radisson, Holiday Inn, Express, Sofitel, Westin, These are all the major hotel chains of India. The Indian hotel industry has come a long way from dharamshalas, sarais, chaupals of panchayats, chautri in South India, which were provided by rich people and usually the accommodation was free, to musafir khanas and sarais of the Mughal period, to the modern day hotels. Palanji Pestonji 1840 started the first luxurious hotel in Bombay. It was famous for its excellent cuisine, beers and wines, and its excellent management. Later, he opened another hotel in the fort of Bombay. Auckland Hotel in 1843 was established in Calcutta. Later, it was renamed as the Great Eastern Hotel in 1858 and later renovated for a sum of rupees 10 lakhs. Esplanade Hotel 1871 was built in Calcutta by John Watson, a silk drapery merchant, with 130 rooms. The Taj Mansingh Hotel in India was built on the ruins of Hotel Fonseca in New Delhi. In 1903, J.R.D. Tata constructed the Taj Mahal Hotel in Bombay. It was the first hotel of international standards and repute, built by an Indian for Indians. The government realized the importance of tourism in 1962 when there was a decline of tourist arrivals. Incentives were offered to private operators. Department of Tourism started the Hotel Corporation and Tourist Corporations. Ashoka Hotel, Vigyan Bhavan were made in 1956 in a record time of 1 year. Later, 3 hotels were constructed by the government: Lodhi Hotel, Janpad Hotel and Ranjit Hotel, in so on and so forth. Till 1963, hotels were mainly run by private operators and only rest houses and tourist bungalows were run by the Department of Tourism. The 3 corporations that were formed were India Tourist and Hotel Corporation, India Tourist Corporation Limited and India Tourism and Transport Corporation. Major Indian hotel groups. Many small and big Indian hotel groups are operating in various parts of India today. Some of them are discussed. International hotel chains such as Sheraton, Hilton, Ramada, Sofitel, Meridian, Hyatt and Marriott are either operating or planning to operate in India on franchise basis. Some major chains hotels in India: Welcome Group, Oberoi Hotels, Hotel Ambassador, New Delhi, UP Hotels and Restaurants Limited, Ritz Chain, Spencer's, Sinclair's, Hotel Corporation of India (HCI), Leela Group, Asian Hotels, APJ Surendra Group, Park Hotel, JP Group of Hotels, Palace Hotels such as Jodhpur Palace, Lakshmi Vilas Palace of Jaipur, Lalita Mahal Palace of Mysore and Halcyon Castle of Travancore Maharaja, Usha Kiran Palace of Gwalior, Jai Mahal Palace, Jal Mahal, Raj Mahal Palace in Jaipur, Chamundi Hill Palace, Bolgathi Palace near the Cochin Port, residence of the former British resident of southern states, converted to a hotel. The top 10 hotels of the country, India, are Taj Mahal Palace, Mumbai, Leela Palace, Bangalore, Oberoi Uday Vilas, Udaipur, Oberoi Amar Vilas, Agra, Leela Kempinski, Mumbai, The Four Seasons, Mumbai, Rambagh Palace, Jaipur, Imperial, New Delhi, Taj Coromandel, Chennai, and ITC Maurya, New Delhi. These are the top 10 hotels of India. Hotel chains in India. A number of hotel chains are running their operations in India. A collection of group of hotels operated under a specific brand name is known as hotel chain. Chain ownership usually imposes certain minimum standards, rules, policies, and procedures. The more centralized the organization, the stronger the control over the individual property. These are some prominent Indian chains: Oberoi Group of Hotels, ITDC India Tourism Development Corporation Limited, Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces, JP Hotels, ITC Hotels, and the Leela. Also included in the list are Best Western, Grand International, Choice Group of Hotels, Hindustan Group of Hotels, Leela Palaces Hotels and Resorts. These are hotels that have been divided according to brand presence. So on the top left you will see luxury brands. Luxury brands such as Oberoi, Four Seasons, Conrad, Taj Mahal, Westin, Grand Hyatt, Ritz-Carlton, Intercontinental, Mandarin Oriental, JW Marriott, and Shangri-La. On the top right, you will see the budget hotels: Formula One, Best Western, A1, Premier Class Travel Inn, Ginger, Quality Inns, Ibis, Park Inns, Ramada, Hometel, Days Inn. On the bottom left, you see the first class hotels of India: Hilton, Golden Tulip, Le Méridien, Crown Plaza, Sofitel, Clarion, Trident, Hyatt Regency, Sheraton, Taj Residency, Marriott. And on the bottom right, you see the lower class hotels. Taj Group of Hotels. This is the signature hotel of Taj, situated near Gateway of India, the Taj Palace, the Grand Hotel of Mumbai. The Indian Hotel Company Limited (IHCL) and its subsidiaries are collectively known as Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces, and is recognized as one of Asia's largest and finest hotel companies. Incorporated by the founder of Tata Group, Mr. Jamshedji N. Tata, the company opened its first property, the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, Bombay, in 1903. The Taj, a symbol of Indian hospitality, completed its centenary year in 2003. India-based company engaged in the business of hotels, IHCL. The company, along with its subsidiaries, associates, and joint venture companies, operates under the Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces brand. Indian Hotel Company Limited runs hotels under the brands Taj, Taj Exotica, Taj Safaris, Vivanta by Taj, Gateway, and Ginger Hotels. Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces comprises 93 hotels in 55 locations across India, with an additional 16 international hotels in the Maldives, Malaysia, Australia, UK, USA, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Africa, and the Middle East. It has hotels among other locations in the US, Australia, Maldives, the United Kingdom, Sri Lanka, Africa, and the Middle East. IHCL operates Taj Air, a private luxury jet operation with state-of-the-art Falcon 2000 aircrafts designed by Dassault Aviation France, and Taj Yachts, two three-bedroom luxury yachts which can be used by guests in Mumbai and Kochi in Kerala. IHCL also operates Taj Sats Air Catering Limited, the largest airline catering service in South Asia, as a joint venture with SATS, formerly known as Singapore Airport Terminal Services. Classification of Taj. Taj: luxury full-service hotels, resorts and palaces. Taj Safaris, Taj Exotica, Ginger economy hotels, the Gateway Hotel, upscale mid-market full-service hotels and resorts, and upper upscale hotels, full-service hotels and resorts. 6 classes. This is a picture of the Taj Palace in Delhi. Amazing hotel. EIH, Associated Hotels Limited. The Oberoi Group, or the EIH Associated Hotels Limited, was founded in 1934 by late Rai Bahadur Mohan Singh Oberoi. It operates 30 hotels, a Nile cruiser, and a motor vessel in the backwaters of Kerala. The group has presence in 6 countries under the luxury Oberoi and 5-star Trident brand. The group is also engaged in flight catering, airport restaurants, travel and tour services, car rentals, project management, and corporate air charters. This is the Hotel Oberoi Udaivilas, palace converted to a hotel. Then we have the third brand, ITC Hotels. ITC Limited entered the hotel business in 1975. ITC Hotels currently owns and operates 100 hotels in 75 destinations. ITC Hotels are India's second largest hotel chain. They show our heritage. The group today operates under different brands: Luxury Collection brands, Welcome Sheraton Hotels, Fortune Hotels, and Welcome Heritage Hotels. These are some of the hotels, famous hotels, luxury hotels of India, ITC Hotels of India. It took me a great amount of effort to get all this information together, but I'm happy I did it for your benefit. ITC Hotels of India. ITC Grand Bharat's majestic property. Sarovar Hotels and Resorts, Sarovar Premier, Sarovar Portico, Hometel, Park Plaza, Radisson, and Park Inn. Sarovar Hotels and Resorts. Sarovar Hotels and Resorts is a privately owned hotel chain in India. It is the third largest hotel chain in India with 70 hotels across India and overseas. The company is affiliated with Carlson Hospitality Worldwide. Carlson companies are active in hospitality services comprising more than 1,570 hotels, resorts, restaurants, and cruise ships operations in 81 countries. The association with Carlson Hospitality makes Sarovar Hotels the master franchisor for the Park Plaza and the Park Inn hotel brands in India. The company has also launched the domestic brands Sarovar, Portico, and Hometel. This is a picture of Sarovar Portico, Majestic Court in Mumbai. Having seen some major hotel chains of India, we would now like to cruise to the major hotel chains of the world. Marriott International. Please read carefully. Moving on. These are all Marriott hotels. Accor Hotels. Accor Hotels, formerly known as Accor SA, is a French group of hotels. These are all Accor hotels, 92 countries. Photographs of some Accor hotels. Starwood Hotels and Resorts. Starwood Hotels and Resorts Worldwide Inc. is an American hotel and a leisure company headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut. These are some Starwood hotels in India and abroad. Then we move on to another group, a very huge group, Wyndham Hotel and Resorts. Wyndham Hotel Group offers nearly 7,400 hotels under 15 brands spanning 66 countries in 6 continents. Wyndham Hotels is a huge group of hotels. Carlson. Carlson is also a name to reckon with 1,370 hotels. Hilton Worldwide has 4,525 hotels all over the world under different brand names. I hope you have seen the whole thing. Intercontinental Hotels Group. This is another huge international hotel group with 4,800 hotels. Choice Hotels International with 6,372 hotels all over the world. This is a picture of Marina Bay Sands, the most expensive hotel built, $8 billion US. Oldest hotel in the world, Hoshi Ryokan, Japan. Functioning since the last 1300 years and with the same family. The largest hotel in the world, First World Hotel, Genting Highlands, Malaysia, with 7,351 rooms. Wow. With the end of this presentation, this is the last slide. The most expensive room in the world, Royal Penthouse Suite, President Wilson Hotel, Geneva, price $76,000 per night. The most expensive room in the world. With this, we would like to take your leave. We hope that the presentation today was gainful and that you learnt a lot and you took sufficient notes, because knowledge is power. We would like to end here with a small personal note. Please take care of yourselves during these difficult times. Please spare no opportunity in learning and developing yourself while staying at home. Be helpful around the house. Take care of your family members. Do not move out of the house unless it is absolutely necessary. Follow all points of hygiene. Cover your face. Wash your hands frequently. Most of all, do not venture out unless it is absolutely essential. With that, we would like to say farewell to you. We will see you again very soon. Take care, be good, be one. Thank you. Thank you from all of us at IHM Meerut. May God bless you.